What's up, design family, and welcome back to another episode of Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you back on the channel. On today's episode, we have another fashion need-to-know vocab lesson. Honestly, as a fashion designer working in the field over the last 4 years, I know that I've been caught on the back foot, and sometimes there's terms and terminologies that I didn't really know, and I was a little bit embarrassed to ask whether communicating with a client or even worse with a manufacturer. Really, I had to learn the hard way, so this is episode 2 of my need to know fashion key terms so that you can always look and feel like a pro when you're communicating with clients and manufacturers alike. Hey guys, and welcome to Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you here. On this channel, we discuss all things sports fashion, graphic design, manufacturing, and technology. We'll discuss key topics, answer pressing questions, and provide actionable steps on starting your own product line. If you're interested in any of the above topics, stick around. You're in for a good one. So I'll actually be covering 2 key categories in this episode that I didn't on the last one that I definitely think you guys will find extremely useful. And the first is going to be the accounting and sales category. Number 1 on the list is the gross margin. This is essentially the difference between your sales and your actual cost of goods sold. This represents your income before any additional costs. Number 2 is going to be your cost price. This is the true cost of each unit sold. The way we calculate this is by actually taking the total value of the amount that we spent on production, adding your total overhead, your admin expenses, your marketing expenses, taking that resulting number and dividing by the total number of units you've actually produced. Number 3 is going to be ROI. This is a common one even outside the fashion world. What it stands for is return on investment. This is a percentage amount that actually determines or quantifies the percentage return a cash investment in your business has actually made you. So let's take a specific example. Let's just say you invest $100 into a small scale t-shirt production and you make $120 out of that investment. Your ROI in this case would be 20%. Number 4 is going to be DOI. This stands for days in inventory. Essentially, this is an efficiency ratio that companies use to determine the average number of days that they hold on to inventory before they actually manage to sell it. The second category that we'll be discussing is that of production and manufacturing. This is a good one, so definitely listen up. The first term in this category is going to be OEM. Chances are, if you've ever been on Alibaba, you've heard this term before. What it means is original equipment manufacturing. This is an indicator of a manufacturer that actually works in a context where they create custom-made product for a customer as per a unique tech stack that's been provided by the customer to the manufacturer, and then that product is created to spec. Number 2, like OEM, you've probably heard the term ODM, and this stands for Original Design Manufacturing. This is a manufacturer that creates blanks and then sells these blanks to brands that are then branding these blanks for resale under their own brand name. Number 3 is going to be SKU, or otherwise known as the stock keeping unit. This is a code, an alphanumeric code, a combination of letters and numbers that brands come up with to give each specific product in each specific color, in each specific size, a unique code that they can track for their retail inventory. This is extremely useful because you can keep track of how much stock you have of a specific product, and when it comes to analytics and metrics, you can see which products are doing the best, which sizes you're selling the most of, which colorways are doing not so hot, and some colors that are doing much better. So it gives you a lot of flexibility to really go in deep and understand how your products are performing and ultimately what your product sales look like. Number 4 is QC. This stands for quality control, and honestly, this is self-explanatory. So we'll move on to number 5, which is S/O, which stands for strike off. This is essentially a test of a specific printed artwork that a factory will submit to the customer, to the brand, for final approval before going into full-scale production. Let's just say you have a camo hoodie and you've custom designed a pattern. the manufacturer is going to create a strike off that camo pattern on the fabric in the right color, in the right scale for your final confirmation before they commit to actually printing that pattern on the bulk fabric. Number 6 is proto, otherwise colloquially referred to as a sample. A proto is the initial sample that a factory will create for you. And honestly, the key purpose of any proto is not to provide a finished product. What it's meant to show is that a factory is, one, able to understand your tech pack, able to take a design and execute on it, that they also have strong workmanship, they're able to create a quality product, also that they understand the very specific details, and lastly, that they can create a quality of service that can encourage you to move forward with production with them. This is not an indicator of the final fit, detailing, branding, and ultimately never an indicator of the final fabric that would be used in full-scale production. Number 7 is PP, which stands for the pre-production sample. Unlike a proto, here we're actually creating a finalized sample in the correct color, in the correct fabric, with all necessary trims and prints attached as they would appear in the final stages of production. So here we're trying to get the customer to approve the PP sample before a factory is able to commit to full-scale production. So the purpose here is to really give the customer a clear idea of what a finished mainline production product would look like. That way, if there's any issues, you can avoid them before committing to a full-scale production. Last but not least is MOQ. This is definitely going to be something that you will have heard of, or you definitely are going to hear at some point. This stands for the minimum order quantity. This is a figure that a factory will provide that represents the minimum viable quantity that they will accept in order to take on a specific project. This quantity or this number is typically tied to a specific color of a specific product. So if a factory tells you our MOQ is 500, know that they're talking about a specific product in a specific colorway. Well, that is a wrap, guys. That is a wrap on part 2 of our fashion need to know term series. Honestly, there's one more part that I definitely think you guys would get a lot of use out of. I wanted to split them up. That way you guys can come back to these episodes in the future depending on which category best speaks to you. So definitely tune in the next episode where we'll have part 3 of our fashion need to know vocab series. Guys, if you enjoyed the episode, honestly, please consider smashing a thumbs up. That is the minimum cost of entry for content like this, and it encourages us to keep doing what we're doing. And if you guys have not subscribed, please consider doing so. We put out great content every Wednesday and every Sunday and haven't missed a beat in over 2 years. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fittdesign TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.